Well, hey there, BT here. Welcome to BT's Corner. Want to make a real short one here today. I call this one No Happy Endings. Now, we've got the coronavirus raging across the United States. I don't care what you want to call it, the coronavirus or COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 or my favorite, the Wuhan Coronavirus. Really doesn't matter. It's wreaking havoc across the United States. And here's the part that doesn't have a happy ending. It's going to continue to do so. Whether we stay in lockdown or whether we open up, that virus is still going to be here. We don't have a vaccine yet, and we may never develop one. I'm going to throw some numbers at you. Here's the source where I get most of these numbers from. It's a website called Worldometers or Worldometers, however you want to pronounce it. That's the source. And here's some information for you. Here we got the population of the world. We've got just under 8 billion people. And we got the population of China, which is about 1.4 billion people. And you can see down there at the bottom that China is about 18% of the world. And you see down there at the bottom, the United States, 328 million or so. We make up a little over 4% of the population of the world. And again, there's the source, the Worldometers. Now, why did I put that out there? Well, because here's why. If you go on to Worldometers and look up the coronavirus stats, right now, and I just checked these numbers, right now there are about 1,460,000 cases of the coronavirus here in the United States, which has resulted in just about 87,000 deaths. That's a big number. I'm not trying to diminish that. But if you look at China, the reported cases in China where the virus originated, and I'll get to more of that in a second, but in China they have 82,933 reported cases. That means that the United States has 5 times more reported cases of the coronavirus than China does, and their deaths, and this number was the same yesterday when I looked at this, 4,633 reported deaths due to the coronavirus in China, the country where it originated, in a city called Wuhan, which is a gigantic city. So these numbers really don't make a lot of sense. While I'm on that, did the virus originate in a wet market, as they say, or did it originate in a lab? Personally, what I think is that it came from a lab, not that it was being weaponized, but it was just being studied, and they didn't pay a lot of attention to proper safety protocols and how to handle viruses like that, and it escaped. And the important thing to remember is that once that virus got loose and was allowed to spread in China, what China did was they prevented people from Wuhan flying to other parts of China and spreading it within the country, but they did allow people to go from Wuhan to all over the rest of the world. Folks, that virus was spread around the world literally before anybody knew it. You can blame politicians or governments if you want, but in this case, they really, other than the government of China, those governments really are not to blame, especially here in our own country. All right. Right now, we've got lockdowns going on. We've got protests going on against the lockdowns and the stay-at-home orders, and there's no good news there, and there's no happy ending to that. But we do need to open up. Here's why: epidemiologists, virologists, they're great in their fields. I respect the heck out of them. I'm happy that we have them to tell us what to expect. But we also have to have at the table business people, economists. People who are involved in the supply chain, those logisticians, they all have a place at the table too, because we cannot stay in lockdown and expect the United States to be able to recover if we stay in lockdown until a vaccine is developed, if one ever is. That's months minimum, of absolute barest minimum, with everything going right perfectly, would be 6 months from now. More realistic is 9 to 12 to 15 months. We can't stay in a lockdown that long. We'll destroy the economy and everything America stands for. We've flattened the curve. We've prevented the healthcare systems from being overwhelmed. And that was the whole point of the exercise. So now we turn it back over to the free market. The free market will figure out how to do this. We will win. And the reason I want to point this out to you, this is a picture of a great American. His name is George Smith Patton Jr. You might recall a movie made about him some years ago, about 50 years ago. And in the beginning of the movie, reminiscent of when Patton took over command of the Third Army in Europe in World War II. He made a speech to the assembled soldiers, and in that speech he said, "Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser." Well, I got to hand it to old blood and guts Patton there. He's right. The free market will figure this out. We will win somehow against this coronavirus. It won't be easy. There's not a lot of good news. And for a lot of people who are going to catch this and die, and that is inevitable, there are no happy endings there. We are going to have to figure out how to deal with this. It's not going away. Government is not the answer. If you think government is the answer, look at government's track record of getting us through tough periods in the United States. It's not the government that ever comes up with the solution. It's the private sector. It's individual Americans. It's people that do that, not the government. Right now, we've got massive stay-at-home orders that are starting to loosen up a little bit, but people are still dependent on the government, waiting for the government to tell them what to do. Folks, we're running out of time, and governments from the federal level all the way down to the local are running out of money. We can't just keep printing up money and throwing money at it and think we're going to solve the problem. That won't work. It's never worked. And we certainly can't do that for 6 to 9 to 12 to 15 months. Come on, we can't do that. Want to finish this up just by saying that we really are going to pull through this. There's no happy ending as far as the coronavirus is concerned. It's going to be here no matter what. We just have to deal with it. Remember that we need to get back on with the business of being Americans, the business of America and being Americans. And the business of America, folks, is business. That's what we are. We are a capitalist society. And it's built the greatest country on the planet. And capitalism has lifted more people around the world out of poverty than any government system you could ever imagine. That's what we do. We're America, and we're going to lead the way, and we're going to find our way out of this. Good news and happy endings or not. Last thing is, before I wrap this up, remember, be careful about your news. The news is also a big business. Watch multiple sources. Look around. Read the same story from different sources. Be informed, not propagandized. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me for this 7.5 minutes or so. BT here from BT's Corner signing out. See you next time.